Thank you, Shvendra, for giving me an opportunity to come and talk on the ETCSO platform. Hello, everyone. I am going to talk about the touchless experience to the customer and the cyber risk that it introduces, along with evolving needs of the touchless experience. I was reading a survey published by Capgemini and have come across that 65% people in today's time want a complete touchless experience into every aspect of their lives, right? And with this means that giving a touchless experience means that there's a need to evolve into various technologies, automations, processes, adoption of various systems, applications, etc. I believe that a touchless experience is a four-staged process, and every stage requires a lot of effort to be put in. The foremost stage for this is we identify the types of in-person interactions that one has, right? So this could be employee to interactions, employee to customer interactions, customer to third-party interactions, right? And so when it comes to aviation, right? So aviation to such interactions that are visible to everybody is one is when they have to go to the counters and get their boarding pass printed, and second one is they when they have to check in their bags. So these two important systems where the aviation industry are looking at automating it. Second, I believe that defining the risks associated with each interaction types, right? So I've just mentioned about the two interactions. So in this particular two interactions, I believe the employees and the customer interact with each other, and the need is to give them a touchless experience, whether it is to give them a boarding pass or to give them a help them check in their baggage, right? So the we have to look at securing both the customer and employee engagement here. Essentially, the next step is that we execute and develop solutions that meet the requirements into this particular area. So for that matter, in aviation, people are now, so as to give a touchless experience to printing a board pass or to help check in, they have introduced lot many functionalities into their digital assets only. So for that matter, today if I were to travel, I need not go to the counter to get my boarding pass printed. I can simply do it from a click of my mobile app or a web app. Likewise, I think I can do my web check-in without having the person at the counter helping me to get the check-ins done. And lastly, I believe is that there is a need to adapt and sustain, which means that the solutions that you are developing in these times, they need to be adjusted in the environment, and then it has to look at the evolving emerging trends that are needed. So for an organization, as you would believe that it's all about its brand. With COVID-19 in place, the digital brand for any organization is, I would say that is an essential need for any organization to save. So if I were to equate brand, right? So I would simply say that a digital brand of an organization is the brand and its culture that enables its brand in the customer's mind space. So I was mentioning about a lot many things that aviation is now looking at in terms of automating, right? Like in terms of boarding passes, in terms of getting access into the airport premises, getting their bag management systems done, etc. So with this, aviation is adopting a lot many technologies, emerging technologies, making use of AI, ML, and all of that, and industrial automation as well to meet the needs of the customers to a touchless experience. Now, when I say so that this has now become as a new normalcy, but I believe that this will bring along with it the surge in the cyber incidents. So if I were to take or relate some of the examples, right? So I have mentioned about like a boarding pass being printed through a digital asset or a mobile app, right? So this essentially means that the application, if an application is not tested completely into the all business logic aspects that are developed, a vulnerable application could lead to a data breach, and then it will affect the digital brand of an aviation. Secondly, I believe that, because these apps are now, so you don't have a control over the endpoints or the end devices of the customers. So there may be a possibility that somebody is using a jailbroken system and is trying to, do some, let's say, booking transaction or something. So there may be a possibility a bot sitting on his endpoint, and then it plays some kind of havoc into the system, which again, though it is not relating to the aviation per se, but it definitely affects its brand. So I think another area that could be that, infra vulnerability. So aviation per se is a very close community of various providers working into making an aircraft fly. So you have third parties, you have airport authorities, you have aviation. All of them are equally responsible for making an aircraft fly. So there may be a possibility that, because of adoption of technologies and automation, that there could be infra vulnerability in the system that could lead to another level of havoc that could enable a backdoor, and that could lead a digital that could impact a digital brand. Lastly, I believe that a lot of cyber scams now, because the entire domain or the entire country was on lockdown, and with this, people were stranded in their places, in their respective places now, and then uh, you know there is a, because now the lockdown is over and people are now wanting to travel. This could lead to various kind of cyber scams. Somebody could make, phishing websites. Somebody could throw tantrums. They could do robocalls. They could do SMS spoofing. All of this could lead to a digital brand, right? So the essence here for aviation is that, considering all of this, they need to look at various aspects, right, in terms of how can they secure the applications or the digital platforms or their third-party ecosystems, and alongside they need to educate the customers onto various kind of do's and don'ts. So with all this, there is a need for an organization to protect its digital brand. And some of the steps that I think that all aviation are now looking at is, one is they're securing their platforms and the applications. So if I were to take an example, the mobile interfaces are now enabled with a with, let's say, a captcha or a fingerprint authentication kind of fingerprint authentication, which essentially makes the application less prone to getting compromised. Also, alongside what Aviation is now doing is that they're looking at they're understanding the behaviors. Whether this is a human interface or a bot interface that is trying to work upon a transaction. So this requires a lot of system enablement, and Aviation is venturing into a lot many technologies such that these are catered to. For example, bot protection is one such technology that helps organization to reduce the bot traffic in their environment. Second, I believe, is the most important and most difficult is the customer education. So customer in today's time can fall prey to any small easy scams, like I was mentioning about the cyber scams. In today's time, when the prices are going to surge because of the needs of the industry, a phishing scam or a cyber scam saying that somebody is ready to offer 60% discount on a flight, I think customer like me will definitely want to try it, and then it could lead to any kind of damage to the customer. So this essentially means that touching customers into each and every aspect, educating them on the usage, on the do's and don'ts that company uses, on the best practices, is another big task that aviation industry is now dealing with. With this, I believe that aviation industry, so as to give a touchless experience to the customer, is also looking at being cyber ready to address the news vulnerabilities or the cyber risks that they foresee. I think with the adoption of technology and with the adoption of technical steps, they're reducing the surface of the cyber risks, and I think they are well prepared to handle the touchless experience. Thank you.